And I used to make suggestions. I'd be like, is it not working because of this? And he'd be like, yeah, maybe. But now I'll get halfway through and he'll be like, Dad, hold on. And because he needs to think, and he's like, don't, your suggestions are not going to help me now. He's gone far beyond like my understanding of, and he'll try to explain something to me and he'll be like, never mind. Just, it works now. Just trust me. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
Yeah. And I accept that. I'm like, all right. Jalen's an old soul. I don't know if you chatted to Jalen, but he's like an old soul. He's very, I'm probably the immature one. Like, what about this, man? Hey, we should do that. And he's like, Dad, is that realistic? Like, is that going to make you know what I mean? He's like, he's more like my wife. Like, he's got that old soul energy. You know what I mean? He's kind of stoic for an 11-year-old kid. So,
no, I think having that sort of, how to say? I think it's very easy to pick up a skill when you're young because you're very willing to play around with things, right? You don't need to know how to do something. You don't need something to work right away. You're willing to sort of like bounce around with different things and try things out. And I'm sure you probably noticed this, like when you first put him in front of a computer, he like played around with things and then sort of worked it out very, very quickly. Whereas you, if you're like trying to work out a new piece of software, you might like look up a tutorial on how to do it and learn some things, and like you'll get there eventually. But you have this set of things that you're good for, and you can kind of expand that knowledge base to things that are similar. But when there is something that is like very different, then it's like it's helpful to have sort of like a more guided interaction. Whereas when you're young and you don't really know that much, everything is a new experience. So everything is something you kind of play with.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Like going into something like coding at a late age. So I would have been in probably my early 30s when I first started trying to code in Game Maker. And then I was like, oh, well, they've got like the block code or whatever. It's like the visual scripting in Game Maker. But I felt like that was even harder. Like that, then you just got limitations that you're trying to get around. But I think I was shocked at how I was like, whoa, nothing I know how to do is transferable to this.
Yeah.
Like I started as a musician. I pivoted into filmmaking. I'm a cinematographer, editor, and I've done a fair bit of digital art and design.
Right.
And so those are handy things to have to combine for making a game, but none of that at all translate into helping me understand coding. And I think the shock to the system of like, man, I really don't get this. And I gave it a good 6 months because Jalen was probably only 4 or 5 at the time. I gave it a good 6 months and I was like, I'm not getting better at this. I just need to call a spade a spade. I'm not improving at this. And it was frustrating because I would get snagged on something that like someone like yourself that's got experience, you'd be like, oh yeah, you just need to do this. And I do the same. Like if it's, a problem with with setting up a scene or a camera or like how the lighting and the exposure should be set up or whatever. It's autopilot. Granted, that's a lot easier, but it's autopilot because I've been around it for so long. But I just wasn't getting any better. And so, when I seen Jalen take an interest in it and getting better at it, I was like, it's fascinating that he doesn't have those barriers, those mental barriers of comparison to be like, this is way harder than other stuff. Because I feel like it is way harder than other stuff, like learning an instrument and then learning how to use Logic Pro, for example, to EQ music. Like it makes sense. But gosh, coding is like,
well, here's a question.
It's not intuitive.
How young were you when you started messing around with music and cinematography?
Yeah, like 13. Oh, yeah. I was 13 when I learned, and I can play 3 or 4, probably 4 or 5 instruments.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But like you said before, like, if I get a new phone or if I have to sign up to a new thing, like, like I said, we have an internet a range expander or whatever. When I opened that up, I plugged it in and it didn't work immediately straight out the box because it needed some setup. And I was straight away like, this is ridiculous. How is this is for like a tech. And Jalen's like, Dad, chill. And he just plugged it in, did a few things, and he's like, all right, it works. And so like, I'm already the old guy out in the pastures. You know what I mean? I'm like, I see it happening right in front of my eyes. Even with the younger guys at work, like I manage a small team at work, and I'm the older, I'm the more senior of the group. But we got guys in their early 20s, and I'm like,
Yeah, I think that actually wasn't me that time. Um, this server does like reset every so often. Um,
Oh,
now there's two of me, but that's fine. You were saying the younger guys at work, the 20-year-old guys, and then we dropped.
yeah, they're like the tech support guys, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they just know how to do stuff. They just adapt to it easier.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you got to know when to step out of the way. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like as an older bloke, you got to know when to step out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
All the things that I do within like our game, like that's like doing the music, doing the even like things like level design and stuff like that, and the art and stuff like that. These are like accumulative skills that I feel like I don't feel like I'm at risk of losing. It's
Right,
not like I
right.
have to learn new things. It's pretty lightweight stuff. It's all pretty autopilot. And so that's it. That's a good fit for me. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think hats off to programmers, man. I'm fascinated by programmers. Hey, I really am. Like um it's just to me, it's like the great unknown. You know what I
Mm.
mean? It's like this mystical land that like I'm not, like I'm not in on the joke sort of thing,
Right,
like
right, right.
which is oh, how to program. I'm like, man, I don't get it. Like it's like I get the principle of it, but
Sure, sure, sure.
I'm just intrigued by people's ability to learn and understand
Okay,
things on that
that was
level.
just the fake me that left. We were good.
The imposter.
The imposter. I don't know why it keeps the old one around for so long. It's a weird bug that it's had for a while. Um, yeah, no, I feel the same way about art as well, though. Like, I've done a bit of music in the past. Like, I've played around with GarageBand. That's the Apple one. Yeah, yeah.
Yep, yep, yep,
I played
yep.
around with a bit of that in the past when I had like music class in high school. I've played a bit of guitar. I'm not great at it. It's something I need to work on. And I get you're not great at it. But like digital art,
Yeah.
is something I've never really, or just art in general, something I've never, at least since I was a kid, haven't really done that much of. So
Yep.
for me, it's I don't really know where to start with something, right? But
Yep.
you've done digital art before. You've done cinematography, so you have this even though pixel art is a different kind of art, you
Yep.
have some understanding of posing and of color theory. And
Yep.
that knowledge, even though pixel art is a very different kind of style, it's very transferable into this new medium.
Yep.